University of Hawaii football. What are you doing? This program has had a really bad couple of months. It's unbelievable that their AD, David Matlin, still has a job. Let us recap the last few months and let you judge if this AD should still be around. Now, in 2020, David Matlin hired Todd Graham as the University of Hawaii football coach. Now, in truth, this was a defensible hire, as Todd Graham was a good coach on the field. However, he had some questionable issues off the field, like had a lot of quick departures suddenly to go to other programs, usually leaving in bad circumstances. Link on my video below, which gives the Todd Graham glorious coaching history. It's pretty interesting, but overall, still a defensible hire. However, at the end of the 2022 football season, Hawaii football was pretty obvious had a problem, as they had a mass exodus of players who left Hawaii through the transfer portal. 19 players had transferred from Hawaii by January 2022, which also included Graham's own son. That was also obviously people wanted to know what was going on. Why the hell were all these players leaving? And rumors started to surface that Hawaii was a toxic environment, which was created by Todd Graham, as there was verbal abuse. This led to the Hawaii State Senate having hearings, which further outlined what a bad guy Todd Graham was and is as a coach. Again, link to the video below, and it'll sort of outline what went down. Where Matlin made his mistake was in his initially defending Todd Graham. I mean, it was pretty clear that this guy had a bad history of sort of managing players and programs, but he stood by Todd Graham. Instead of saying, my God, we've had 19 players leave under this guy, what's going on? He was saying, we're not going to buy this guy out. We're standing by him. During the Senate hearing as well, David Lassner, the school president, came out and defended Graham and sort of classified the players that had complaints about him as being cherry-picked to smear the good name of Todd Graham. After the hearings, Todd Graham decided to resign, which was really a golden gift to Hawaii, as they did not have to pay him out, and it gave them a chance to reboot. So it's happy days are here. Hey, we can go get a new coach and reboot the program. But no, this doesn't occur, as Matlin screws up the hiring process and creates even more confusion and outrage and further splits the program. How did he do this, you ask? By alienating the best coach in UH history, which was June Jones. So Jones was actually interested in coaching for Hawaii and let him know. However, it appears Matlin already had his sights set on former UH quarterback Timmy Chang. But Matlin goes ahead and meets with June Jones and basically lowballs him on a contract offer, says, I'll offer you 2 years, but you don't have any say in the coaching staff, or you don't have final authority on the coaching staff. Well, June Jones is like, this is a joke. You can't recruit on a 2-year contract. As well, I'm the head coach. I should have final say on the coaching staff. It was basically Matlin wanted a succession plan in place where Chang would take over in the 3rd year of coach. So June Jones said no thanks, and the meeting ended in about 30 minutes. June Jones was later interviewed and just said, yep, I spoke to him about it, but we couldn't agree to terms, as they didn't want to give me anything beyond 2 or 3 years, which I didn't think was acceptable. This is where it then gets bizarre. Hawaii then has a press conference held by University of Hawaii spokesman Dan Meisenzal. I think I'm mispronouncing that, but anyway. After the negotiations had fallen apart with June Jones, the conference was started by him. And initially, he called June Jones the best coach in UH history. And then after that, he went about ripping Jones for the duration of the video conference. A link below is to that video conference, but basically saying June Jones's work history was questionable. ASU had looked at hiring him years before, but had some issues or character concerns. and that overall June Jones had lobbied inappropriately for the University of Hawaii job and had not followed the proper process. So basically just went about sort of going after June Jones, who's considered one of the best UH coaches in Hawaii history and, looked on favorably or fondly by the Hawaii fan base. So it made absolutely no sense. Now, after this, Matlin gets some favorable PR because they go ahead and hire Timmy Chang, who's a popular hire as he was the former quarterback at University of Hawaii. Matlin holds a press conference and acknowledges that the hiring process could have gone better. He sort of goes through what happened in the hiring process and sort of put out a good case there. Interestingly, he said that he had nothing to do with the press conference the day before that sort of went after and savaged June Jones and just said that was unfortunate. Like, he had no idea the university spokesman would go out and do that. It's like, yeah, right. And ultimately, he gets a successful message out there of let's move forward and support Timmy Chang, which is great. And Chang might turn out to be a good hire. But there are concerns as the highest position that he's held is receivers coach, and he's very inexperienced, but he has united Hawaii Nation. Even June Jones came out and said, I'm wishing him the best. He was my guy. I hope nothing the best and hope to help him any way I can. But this could ultimately wind up being a pretty bad hire, or you would have concerns about the hire just based on his experience. But hey, time will tell with this. But what you're left with at Hawaii now is overall you have an inexperienced coach. Your AD had a chance to hire an experienced coach that previously had success at the University of Hawaii, alienated him, then went out and savaged him as well. Your AD, when there were problems with the program that was obvious, like your players were jumping ship, like 19 players left through the transfer portal, your AD was adamantly dead fast in support of Todd Graham. So those are big questions. And the big question is, how has David Matlin kept his AD job after this performance? In the press conference, he said he had considered resigning, which I think he should have considered it longer, considering the performance he's had over the last few months. I think he should have taken himself up on that consideration and gotten the heck out of there. Anyway, my fearless predictions are that this hire will not work out. And within 2 years, Timmy Chang will be gone. And June Jones and the factions that support June Jones will clean house. And ultimately, June Jones will be the Hawaii coach in 3 years' time. We shall see. Fearless prediction that stays on the internet forever, but that's what I think will probably wind up happening. Here's hoping I'm wrong and Hawaii football returns to its, the good old days of being a very highly competitive program that scores a bunch of points, plays entertaining football, and usually goes to a bowl game. Anyway, here's the story of Hawaii. You can look at the other video. Like I said, it sort of gives a history of Todd Graham, and sort of his checkered past as well. Down below, I have links to the different press conferences. So the one by the University of Hawaii spokesman where he sort of goes after June Jones, and then the one by David Matlin where he defends their handling and sort of celebrates the hiring of Timmy Chang. All right, well, thanks again for watching. Please like and subscribe to the video. Thank you.